Welcome to the Humboldt Axe YouTube channel. I'm Doc, and this time I'm finishing up my cousin's axe. It's purple. Man, it came out nice. I also made her a matching springboard display, and I'm going to put that thing together. And my wife and I are headed to Elk Grove to give it to her. My other cousin Ethel is out from Kansas, and I haven't seen her in a while. And man, I love my cousin. So we're excited to go visit and do a hand delivery. So please be sure you subscribe down below. Appreciate everybody watching. Stay tuned, hang with me, and let's get to it. Hope everyone's doing well. Got so many projects going on, but I do want to finish up my cousin's axe. I got a display for it. I'll bring you in on that, on how to put that thing together. But this, man, I like this thing. My little axe grinder. So I'm going to finish putting the edges on my axe. On my axes, I got a couple of other projects coming together right now. I got my cousin's. I want to finish the edge on this. I just started on it. I put a coat of poly on there to give it some protection. It needs one more. I want to finish the edges here. You see that? Oh man. Well, that's why I love these old bits, and that's why I keep the patina on there. Man, it looks badass. This one's ready to be finished. It's for my cousin. She digs purple. So that's what I did. All right. Well, I've been sitting here talking, thinking I hit play, and I didn't. But anyway, whatever. I'm learning. It's my cousin's axe. What I did is I put a coat of polyurethane on it just to give it a hard shell, seal it up. It's a display axe. I got the display out in my shed. I put the coat on this one on my wrap strike guard. I just put it along the edge. I don't know if you can see that though. It'll seep down in there and it ain't coming off. Plus with that glue, it's like a rubber water resistant outdoor, so it works good. So I'm going to let these two things dry and probably call it for now. And then I got the display out in my, I just said that, but sorry, I got the display out there. I'll put it together and I'll kind of show you how I do it. It's pretty easy actually. I don't ship them to people put together because I'm afraid they'll break when they ship. So pretty easy. 4 screws. I put some Velcro, the soft part of the Velcro on there to sit down, and it comes out pretty nice. So, all right. My wife's cooking, so I'm going to be eating. Hope everybody's doing well. It's been a little hectic. Yesterday was pretty eventful, but I want to get back at finishing my cousin's axe. I got it's all ready to go. Man, it came out nice. So, final step is lock my garage here. Final step is doing the display. I make a display for these axes, and so I've got it all. Pardon me. I've got it all ready. I'm just going to put it together. And I was going to show you what I do. When I ship these off with a display, I don't put the display together. I just don't want to break it in the mail. So I'm going to show you how I put them together. Also, we got a lot more sun these days. This big tree right here was a lot sicker than we thought. Michael Flowers, I love you, man. He knew something was up when he took a look at it. And then he had Scott Landergan come out as well. And basically, there's a hole that goes down in there, and I measured it. It's about up to my hip. And so they came out yesterday and crashed it down. There wasn't a whole lot going on with this one, and it was aiming straight to our house, which had me concerned. And then this other one, well, you can see the crack where the separator. That one was headed right over there, over my shed and my wood shed, and they crashed it right down there. They made a big old boom, and I ain't gonna lie, my heart was pounding. Holy moly. So, but they took care of it, so I'm grateful to them. Let's get out to my shed real quick here and show you what I'm working with. So, that's my display. Let me get this out of my way here. This is basically a 2x8 piece of redwood. And here I put it up here like this. This other one goes here. And then I'll lay it across. So I'm going to take you through the process real quick. It's pretty easy, to be honest, but at least you can see how I do it. Also, I make these in the shape of a springboard. That's why I notch the edges like that. Just as a nod to the old school lumberjacks that used to fell these big redwood trees. If you look at the stumps around here and on my property as well, there's notches in the stump, and they would take these, well, they're big. I'm going to share some pictures, but these guys would notch the trees and they'd jam a springboard in there and they'd stand on these things and chop these trees down. And there's several on our property where you can see that actually. Let's go take a walk. I've got several of these stumps on our property that I'll show you exactly what I mean. It's a piece of history. It's pretty incredible. So no sense in talking about it. Let's go be about it. I'll go walk down to the bottom side of our property real quick. These are big rounds. Look at this. I mean, I'm not that tall. Right, I mean, it's leaning too, so I'm going to guess 3.5, 4 feet on the tall end from here to here. But they put it right through here, right through there. Wow. So Scott was really good. I really appreciate him. He walked me through the entire program. Not that he needed to, but he could. I think they both could sense I was nervous. I know they did. And Michael Flowers and Scott Landigan, man, I love you guys. You guys are awesome. I don't think I'd never have anybody touch my trees except for them, but those two by the garage had me really worried. And when Mike looked at him, he said, yes, you have a right to be worried about him. But I asked him where he was going to put him, and he looked at me with the most matter-of-fact, no-tone voice and said, wherever we want him. Wow. And he meant it. And Scott, anyway, these guys. Michael, man, you got a friend for life, my friend. Gosh, he's such a good person. So what I'm going to do is, we've got several of these large stumps. I mean, they're old growth, I believe. I'm wrong, you know, whatever. But I believe they're old growth. This stump right here, well, you can kind of see the notches. That was a springboard notch. It's all burnt out in the middle. See that? I mean, I could get down in there. But this one, this is all our property. Our property goes all the way down here. But you can get an idea. Whoa. If I don't get a slip and trip. That stump from here to here, I bet it's 9 or 10 feet across. Easy. I don't have a tape measure with me. But there's more of these old growth stumps on our property. Look at this game trail. These are where the deer come through. No. Or bears. We do have bears. I haven't seen any, but here's another big stump down here. Oh, you can see it. There's a notch in it. I'll show you what it looks like. Oop. That's a springboard notch right there. Probably more of them if I walked around it. That's an enormous stump as well. That stump across is probably 8 to 10 feet across. That's a huge stump on our property. But anyway, springboard notch, which means when that tree was cut down, who knows, 80, 100 years ago, them old school lumberjacks would notch them trees and they'd stick them springboards in there and they'd stand on those things, multiple, and they'd get to going. So that's why I make my displays in the shape of a springboard, just to honor those guys who were, man, tough son of a guns. Here's the top of the tree. That thing came, whoa. Well, here's the aftermath. I don't fall on my rear end. Came right through here. Here's the tree. It just obliterated itself. They shot that thing right through there. And actually the only tree they took out was this little one, this little tiny one. Wow. And Scott said, you know, I'll put it through there. Can't guarantee you can take out a tree, but I'll try. And dang it, if Michael and Scott didn't take out a tree, except for that little one that's wedged, and it's a tiny sucker. Holy moly. So there's that, anyway. Oh, there's notch marks on the back of this big stump back here, too. Oh, on the back end of this other one. There's an old notch up there. That one's burnt out. That was a big old tree. So anyway, I love living here. Our property is about 2.5 acres, I want to say. And it goes right down to the bottom of this hill. And we've got several of these old growth stumps on our property. It's pretty cool. So that's why that's why I make my displays with in the shape of a springboard. Put that under your hat, you know what I'm saying? Here's another old growth stump here. This one's up by a road. This one here. We've got several others back here as well. Okay. So, let me get you set up real quick so you can see what I'm doing. Alright, let me hold on. Gotten to that point. Whatever. So anyway, back to this. It's pretty easy. I use on the bottom, I just use Velcro just as a soft landing. 4 3-inch screws. These are very specially ordered specifically for, no they're not, this is my wife's hair tie, so that's what I use, it's black. And a little stainless screw. So I pre-drill these things before I get working on them, so there's holes already in them. I don't know if you can see it or not. I drill 2 holes, I set them, then I take it back apart, and I finish them up. This thing came out wicked, man. My cousin loves purple, so I did the best version of that I could. It kind of came out raspberry-ish, to be honest. But this, it just, I put the poly on there, and I kind of heated it up a little bit, and it made this, man, it looks badass. Anyway, So I'm going to put this together. It's going to go great with this, with her axe. So let me get this thing started. Pre-drilling these holes and lining it all up is just make sure that when I go to assemble it, it goes on right. And I won't talk, I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory here, to be honest. But if you do get an axe from me and you order a display and I make you one, I guess I'll put together some instructions, but this is really pretty easy. And what I do is I get this wood and I get a torch and I burn the crap out of it, and then I get a wire brush and I scrape it to raise up that grain. Then I'll blow it out and I'll dye it the same color as the axe, and then I poly it. It comes out cool, man. So that's that. But so my Uncle George, so on my dad's side, it was my Uncle John was the oldest. He's quite a bit older, actually. It was my dad, Frank, and then my Uncle George, and then Uncle Duck, and Uncle Roy. And so my dad was the second oldest, but there was some separation. But Uncle George was, my dad was a character, man. There's no doubt about it. But Uncle George was just, he was such a good man. He was so laid back. My Uncle Duck and my dad were mechanics, and then my Uncle George was a welder for years. And man, he was such a good person. When I was born, we lived in Winton, and we lived 2 doors down from Uncle George and Aunt Janice. And I've always looked at Uncle George and Aunt Janice, Aunt Ann and Uncle Duck. You know, they were married for 50 plus years, and I always looked at them and go, yeah, I want to do that. And so my wife and I have been married 29 years, and so I've always looked at them as what great examples. But we love our Uncle George and Aunt Janice. But when my father passed, well, so Uncle George passed in 2014, and he passed away right after my stepdad, Chuck, and that was really difficult on, he was such a good man, Chuck. And then a couple months later, Uncle George, you know, he was in Sacramento, and I was working, and I got over there. I just think the best thing you can do for a close family member like that is just be present. And I just went through the heartbreak losing my stepdad, Chuck. And then Uncle George was in the hospital, and you could just, anyway, I won't go too far into that, but you know, that sort of heartbreak is really difficult. So as a family member, I think it's just good just to be present, and that was really difficult. So when my father passed in 2020, he was the last of the boys, and man, that was hard. But when my grandmother Gertrude Casper passed away in 1947, I never met her. Not too long after giving birth to my Uncle Roy, she was buried in the Winton Cemetery, and my dad wanted to be buried next to her. I'm like, Pop, I can't just show up to the Winton Cemetery and go, hey man, yeah, my dad wants to be buried right there. You know, it kind of doesn't work that way. But my grandmother didn't have a marker for, I mean, however long. So my wife just said, well, let me call down there, and she did. And the lady there was so nice. She goes, oh yeah, Gertrude Casper, your grandmother's buried in plot 16. We'll show you right where it's at. And the lady goes, and you also own the plot next to it. And I'm like, what do you? So apparently what my grandfather did was bought the plot for her and the one next to it. My grandfather passed a lot later, and he's buried back east. So she said, the person who has rights to it, the initials are WFK. It's my dad's initials. So, well, so anyway, my dad was not a wealthy person whatsoever. He had enough money, and when we had his marker made, had one made for my grandmother as well. So they're both sitting in Winton Cemetery, and we buried his ashes out there, and that was a pretty difficult day. Anyway, but it was, you know, and my cousin Brenda was there, and I was just so grateful for that. You know, really, I was zoned out at that time. It was so difficult, but my cousin Brenda was there, and she was present for me. So that's why I made her an axe to say thank you so much. We loved our Uncle George so much. He's such a good person, and my Aunt Janice, and so that's why I decided to do this. So anyway, we're going down. My cousin Ethel, who's my Uncle John's daughter, she's out from Kansas. So my wife and I, we never try to miss an opportunity to see our family. So they come back east, and we've got an opportunity. I'm going to drive it down, and we're going to stay with cousin Brenda, and I want to give it to her personally. So that's our plan. Anyway, back to this. There we go. That's it. It's pretty simple and straightforward. Oh. This little screw in here. These axes are heavy, so if you just stick it in there, it'll kind of... So I just have a little attachment. And my wife's hair nets are black, so... My wife helps too, you know? Screw that in there. Hairnet. And just twist it. Like that, basically. And here. That's it. Oop. Man. Huh? Needs to sit down a little bit like that. There you go. What about it? That is cool. I'm proud of this one. Man, it came out unique, huh? There you go, Cousin Brenda. We love you so much. Enjoy. I think what I'll do is I'll go take it out on a stump real quick, get it into the light so you can see all the detail. I'm proud of this one. All right, let's go outside, and I'll set it up, and I'll do one more. So, like that. There we go. What about it? In there so you can see it. All right, cousin. Hope you like it. Man, that black wrap came out nice. So, Cousin Ethel, looking forward to seeing you. I get to see my oldest brother Frank tomorrow as well, so we're excited for that, but I get to hand this one to her personally, so can't wait. Man, that thing's badass. Wow. All right. We're gonna go get packed so we can go visit. So I can give it to my cousin myself. Sweet. My wife and I are headed to Elk Grove. We're gonna go visit my cousin Brenda. My cousin Ethel's out from Kansas as well, so pretty excited to see them both. Elk Grove's probably 6 hours from Humboldt, so we're on the road. Say hi, dear.
Hi, dear.
All right. See you when we get there. Well, we made it to Elk Grove. 5:49. That means it took us 7 hours. But we're here, right around the corner from her house. And we tried to bring 60 degrees with us from the coast, from Humboldt, but it party pooped us and stayed home. So whatever, we're just spoiled from Humboldt weather. So we're here, we're gonna go say hi and see my cousin. Broomfield? Okay. Now I'm going to give her axe. What?
9229.
I know, but she's at... Oh, okay.
229.
Oh, dude, we're here. Sweet. All right. Love it. All right. My favorite part of making axes. And this is it. So I'm gonna go get my cousin her axe right now, actually. And look how sharp it is. I just cut my finger on it. All right. Let's do this without slicing my finger.
The mask, the clothes, everything to run it. I'd be scared to have a. Hey, you're done. What have you done? Are you kidding me?
I knew about this.
Are you kidding me? Oh my God, it's purple! I love it! That is so cool!
As purple as it
That
can
is
get.
so cool!
That is really
Dale, where are you?
Told you.
Oh my God!
It's sharp. For
Oh,
real.
okay.
So please be careful.
All right. I'm gonna go cut those
Yeah.
trees down.
You
Look,
probably
look,
could.
That's what you brought.
Oh my God!
This is
amazing.
specially made, hard to find. Actually, that's Tanya's hair now.
Oh
Let me
my
do
God.
this.
Oh, I'm like, that's my hair tie.
I gotta find a special place for this. Okay.
I just throw it
And
on there, though.
hooks in there.
Yeah.
Scott, that is amazing.
I
Oh, that's
appreciate you.
unbelievable.
I didn't know I had such a talented
Oh my
cousin.
gosh.
I know, huh?
Wow. And you also do your wood engraving
Oh, yeah.
too, huh?
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Losing my dad, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So I appreciate you being here for me.
Oh, you're welcome, honey. I wouldn't have missed it for the world. Oh,
So I wanted to do that
daddies.
for you.
oh. Thank you so much.
I tried to make it as
looks
purple as I
good right
could.
there. I think I'm gonna keep it there.
It's good for firewood,
Oh my goodness.
Intruders.
Cutting wedding cakes.
cutting. My cousin brought or saw that I made them one for their wedding, and they cut their cake with it. I go, man, I'm glad I sealed the head.
That is so
and covered it. I'm like, I don't want anybody getting, you know.
Oh,
I didn't know they were gonna do that
wow.
with it.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I made it's redwood. I made it like a springboard.
Is this from one of the trees you cut down?
No, but it's giving me some ideas. Well, thank you so much for watching. My family and I greatly appreciate it. Please be sure to subscribe down below, and welcome to the Humboldt Axe community. We welcome everyone. So just remember, celebrate others, respect yourself, because love is powerful, man. Thank you so much. I'll see you on the next one.